Alright, so I'm here again for a very special episode. Now it's the 2013 Belgian Grand Prix preview for this weekend's Belgian Grand Prix from Spa, the 11th race of the 2013 calendar. Now, the holiday is finally over, the break is over. This is where now, no going back for all the teams and drivers in 2013. Now this is where it starts, now or never, to win the world title. And what better place to return but Spa-Francorchamps. I mean, this has got to be one of the greatest circuits in Formula 1 history, hasn't it? I mean, it's been on the calendar for years. I remember twice in my lifetime it's been off the calendar, and I'm really looking forward to this weekend. So as we all know, the order of the weekend: practice, then on the Friday 2 practice sessions, then we have qualifying on the Saturday, and the race on the Sunday afternoon. Race starts usually at 1 o'clock, and this one, if everyone's interested, is live on the BBC. It's one of the 10 races on the BBC that's going to be live this weekend. So if you don't have Sky Sports F1, then you can watch it on the BBC. Race starts at 1 o'clock. Qualifying as well will begin at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Now the preview will go through the circuit as well, and we'll go through the history as well of the track. We'll start off with the history of the track, of course. It first held a Formula 1 Grand Prix in 1925, and it was a completely different track back then. It was a huge circuit. It was nicknamed the Triangle because it was in like a triangle shape. It was so many corners, so dangerous. Once they started chopping these tracks down, that's when it went to its original form. Won that race Antonio Ascari of Italy. He won the first ever Belgian Grand Prix. It's been off the calendar a few times in its past. Zolder hosted a few races in 73, 75 to 82, and also a race in 1984. Nivelles as well in 72 and 74 as well hosted a Belgian Grand Prix, but there's only one place to host a Belgian Grand Prix, isn't it? Spa, and everyone knows that, and I know that. And if you don't like Formula 1 and you want to like it, and this is going to be your first race to watch, then you will know this is the greatest circuit. It's a real driver's circuit. You know, in the past few years, Kimi Raikkonen has won here quite a few times, and I think if he's got it in him, he'll do it again this year. I'm confident. If the Lotus is quick enough, he will win this race again. 2004, he won it for the first time in a McLaren, getting McLaren's one and only win here in Spa. He won again in 2005. No race in 2006. Won again in 2007. Crashed out 2008. Won in 2009. His last win at Spa, because he left Formula 1 the year after. Was out until 2012, and then didn't win in 2012, which was won by Button. But I am confident Raikkonen can do it again. I'm sure he will do it again. But yeah, the greatest driver to have won a race at this, the most wins for the driver, Michael Schumacher, 6 times. Last won it in 2002, I believe. He last won this race. In 2003 there was no race, and after that Raikkonen started winning a lot. So yes, 2002 was the last time I believe he won this race. Ferrari, most wins, 16 wins in Belgium. So, you know, Belgium, it's got those perfect corners on the track, I think. It's got those perfect corners. You know, it's got turn 1, which will be La Source, is a very tight hairpin. You have to go in it with enough confidence that your car's going to brake in time and go in that corner in time. And it's the corner after La Source that it doesn't look as steep but it is. I remember a few years ago on BBC I had skateboarded down the greatest corner in Formula 1, and it's Eau Rouge, so named Eau Rouge because of the Red River that runs down the side of it. Inside the Ardennes Forest there's a Red River. It's called the Red River, so, and because it runs down the side they chose the name of the corner Eau Rouge. Rouge of course being red in French, and they do speak French in Belgium, I believe. So yeah, and Eau Rouge, you have to go into that corner with so much speed, and you have to have so much confidence to get into Eau Rouge, because one mistake and it's gonna end in absolute tears. 1999, good example. Qualifying. Jacques Villeneuve went into Eau Rouge, made a deal with his teammate Ricardo Zonta that year in the BAR that they're going to try and get through Eau Rouge without lifting and go through it full throttle with no brakes at all, and it did end in tears, because back then you couldn't go through Eau Rouge full throttle, you had to brake early on before going through it. And I think it's the biggest accident I saw that season. Not mention Michael Schumacher's accident, it wasn't as big as Schumacher's accident, it was much more, because it knocked all four wheels off Zonta's car when he did it. They both crashed in the exact same position, but in different sessions. I believe it was practice for Zonta and qualifying for Villeneuve, and it could be both qualifying. After Eau Rouge, you come down a very long straight. You go through Eau Rouge. The last part of Eau Rouge has its own name as well. It's called Radion. And after you go through Radion, you come straight down a long straight called the Kemmel Straight. This is a good chance if you've got curves, and this is where they're going to put a DRS zone. They always put a DRS zone on the Kemmel Straight. Open, if you've got DRS, open it. Use a bit of curves. Good chance to get an overtaking maneuver. Then you come down to what we call Lecum, which is a chicane, and then it's a right-hander, I believe, down the hill. And after you go through that, you come towards Malmedy, I believe it is, Malmedy, the hairpin. And then you've got a corner after that, a left-hander with no name. There's no name for that corner, but it's a very tricky section of track. I remember playing it on the PlayStation a few weeks ago, and on F1 2012 it's very hard to accelerate sometimes because I use no traction control, and when I use it with no traction control, it stops me from stopping a spin. I have to stop the spin myself. If I accelerate too early, the wheels are going to spin and spin and spin and spin, and it's going to send me off. So I try and go through as fast as I can through all those sequence of bends, starting from Lecum all the way up to Malmedy. And I remember spinning off once and hitting the wall, and I turned around and I was like, oh, how? I'm better than that. But yeah, it's a very tricky few corners to negotiate. I mean, 2009 was a great example of tricky corners to negotiate on lap 1. You know, when Button and Hamilton had a crash there with Alguersuari and Grosjean. Yes, I know what you're thinking, Grosjean. I'm not surprised. Yeah, it was his first season, first half season, and he had that crash with Alguersuari, Button and Hamilton after Lecum. So it was a very tricky few corners to take. So after you go through the corner with no name, you've got a corner called Pouhon. Now it's a very, very interesting corner, because some people look at Pouhon and think, now that's full throttle. Looks full throttle. It's not. You've got to brake the early part. You brake once, but very slightly, and then accelerate all the way around that corner. And then you head down the hill towards another chicane called the La Fagna chicane. And this, it's the first part of that you have to brake, and then you accelerate through the second part of that chicane, and then you come towards Stavelot and then Paul Frere. Then after that, you've got another fantastic corner. It is absolutely full throttle, this one, and it is Blanchimont, and I absolutely love Blanchimont corner. I mean, 2001 Luciano Berti hit Eddie Irvine's Jaguar, and he was in a Prost, Irvine was in a Jaguar, and ironically enough, at the start of 2001, they were teammates. They were both in Jaguar, but in Jaguar sacked Berti for bad runner results in Prost, and he took Mazzacani's seat at Prost. But because he was going full throttle, when he hit Irvine's Jaguar, his car went straight on and into the barrier, and it injured him for the rest of the season. And he was replaced by Thomas Enger that season, I believe he was the only Czech driver in Formula 1. But it is a corner you have to be careful of, because if you see someone going straight on into the wall there, you know something's going to be wrong. So he's just gone straight on into the barrier at 180 miles per hour. After you go through Blanchimont, you've got possibly one of the greatest final chicanes out there, the bus stop, renovated a couple of times in the past. It was last renovated in 2007. It used to go in the opposite direction back in 2005 and 2005 and earlier. It used to go in the opposite direction. It goes to the right now. It used to go to the left. It used to be a double chicane. It used to be one chicane to the left. It was a quick left and right. Then it was another right left back in 1999. I remember back then. And that's the bus stop is the last corner on the circuit. It's 20 corners. So 20 corners for 44 laps. It is the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. I think the second longest could be Singapore, which has about 20 corners as well. But it has more laps, Singapore, and I'll get to that in a few weeks' time when I'll do the Singapore race preview. Classic races in the past in Belgium, 1998. You can't forget 1998. What happened then? I don't know. Race started in absolutely torrential rain. David Coulthard, after La Source, went off the track, hit the wall. His car bounced back onto the race circuit after hitting the wall, and almost every car, I think only 4 cars, got past it, and the rest of them were just scattered across the circuit, spinning, crashing, and it was the biggest first corner pile-up I've ever seen in Formula 1. The restart, Damon Hill got the better restart, went from third, was it about 6th or 7th to second place that day. David Coulthard and Michael Schumacher, not to mention them. Coulthard was trying to let Schumacher overtake him because Schumacher was trying to lap Coulthard, and Schumacher couldn't see where Coulthard was in the spray, and Schumacher hit Coulthard and ended up retiring. And what happened after that really made me chuckle. It was Schumacher got out of his car in the garage, stormed out of his garage, took his helmet off, took his fireproof balaclava off, and went straight to McLaren and asked David Coulthard for a fight, because he thought Coulthard took him out on purpose. He thought Coulthard took Schumacher on purpose just so Hakkinen could win the title that year, which Hakkinen did, but it wasn't because of that. Schumacher did have the chance to win the title in Japan 1998, and we all know what happened then. He stalled the car and ruined it for himself that day. Damon Hill won Jordan's first ever Grand Prix there that year, 1998. Fantastic race win for Damon, and it was Damon's last ever Formula 1 win in the sport. Mentioned Raikkonen's wins. Schumacher's first ever race win was here in Belgium as well, 1992. That was... Now, I don't know much about that one, because obviously I do watch the classic races on BBC if you want to check them out as well. BBC have some classic races. This weekend, I believe they've got 92, 2007, and there's 2008, sorry, not 2007, 2008 and 2012 last season, which Jenson Button won. In 2008, it's a very good race to talk about because it was again in bad rain, torrential rain, early on. Towards the end of the race, it started drying out. It rained again. Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren were having a fight to win the race, and it's an incredible finish to that Grand Prix. And what happened was, 3 laps to go, Hamilton dived up the outside in the bus stop chicane, but Raikkonen pushed him off, and he had to go on the escape road and cut the corner, overtaking. He let him back through, but got back past at the source. Now the stewards at the end of that race thought Hamilton took an advantage to win that race, and I didn't myself. I didn't, because you could clearly see Raikkonen was back ahead of him that day. But that's what the stewards thought. And he dropped to 3rd, and Massa won the race that day with Heidfeld 2nd and Hamilton 3rd. Belgium will go down for me as one of the greatest memories I've ever had, because Belgium was, in fact, my first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix I've ever been to, and that was back in 2009. I went 2009 Belgian Grand Prix. I went, and I was standing at the Lecombe chicane where Hamilton, Button, Grosjean and Alguersuari had that crash that day. I was standing right there. I mean, I was there on Sunday. McLaren cap, this shirt I've got on now, and I was very confident McLaren could get a win here this weekend, because they started winning races again. I'm then looking directly down the straight, the Kemmel Straight, towards the chicane. I can see them all coming towards me, and I'm like, there we go, first lap of many. They all come through. I then see 4 cars just completely going backwards, and I'm like, oh dear, something's happened. I then find out there's a big yellow helmet coming out of the McLaren, and another Dayglow green helmet coming out of the Broad, and I'm like, oh my lord, it's Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton. I've come all that way to watch 2 Brits, possibly a British winner. I need to see them both crash out on the first lap. Made me laugh. Raikkonen won that race that day, and that was Force India's first ever Formula 1 podium. And here as well, I've got this bag. Is inside this bag I've got, I'll just get it out, the official race programme, as you can see there, from the 2009 Belgian Grand Prix on the 28th, 29th and 30th of August 2009. It's got all the teams and drivers in it, constructor standings and driver standings up to that point. The official track map should be here somewhere. There it is. Official circuit map of Spa-Francorchamps. See the track I took you around there. I was standing just where's my friend? There it is. Standing just up here, where that corner is there. That's where I was standing. That's where Hamilton, Button, Alguersuari and Grosjean had their crash. But yes, that's my preview for Belgium this weekend. I'm really looking forward to this race. Being a massive Formula 1 fan, massive McLaren fan. Not confident of the McLaren win. Just hoping they get points and hoping they can finish high enough in the constructor standings to keep their reputation intact. But yes, I'm really looking forward to this race. This is going to be a great season, great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed my preview for the 2013 Belgian Grand Prix. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe. I have got more videos coming up. I might have one next week, I'm not too sure yet, but yep, that's my Belgian Grand Prix preview. Like and subscribe, and remember to comment if there's anything you want to see in the future. Thank you.